The trailers for Tears of the Kingdom have done a great job by showing a whole bunch of details, but it's all been framed with very little context. So we've seen Link and Zelda exploring underground, we've seen Link exploring above ground, as well as flying high amongst those sky islands. Well, today I'd like to speculate about how big the map is going to be when it comes to the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and perhaps it could even rival, or maybe even surpass, arguably the best open world game out there right now, and that is Elden Ring. Well, before we get into it today, let me know what you want to see from the Hyrule map in Tears of the Kingdom. Do you think we're going to go underground, and what impact are the Sky Islands going to have on exploration? Also, how many maps do you think we're going to have? Share your thoughts in the comments with the community. Well, this is just a quick little announcement. This video and future videos are not going to contain any spoilers from that art book leak. So we're just going to have to wait until May the 12th when Tears of the Kingdom releases, and then we'll be able to discuss all that goodness. Well, over the past few months, much criticism has been thrown at Nintendo for Tears of the Kingdom looking like DLC to Breath of the Wild. Well, fans have been wondering just how different this game is going to be, given we're going to be exploring the same Hyrule map that we had in Breath of the Wild. Nintendo have been keeping much of the detail about Tears of the Kingdom very close to their chest, releasing details only when they have to, and they've been teasing fans for months, even years at this point. However, I think there's enough evidence in the trailers to suggest that we're getting much more than Breath of the Wild DLC, and our next mainline Zelda adventure could take the crown of the best open world game away from Elden Ring. Well, the latest trailer from Nintendo showed off the most amount of clues that we've seen related to the size of the map and the open world we are about to explore. So, we'd already seen the Sky Islands before, but in this trailer, they showed off vehicles and hinted to a vehicle crafting set of mechanics, which to me indirectly hints at a very, very large map. Now, Breath of the Wild's map was large, however, fans are expecting more when it comes to the sequel, and I think Nintendo knows this. That is why I believe the Zelda team will use the underground and the overground in new ways, plus maybe we're either going to have a dark world or another world to visit as we progress through the game, completely switching things up entirely. Well, first of all, let's have a look at the role of a map in open world games. So the map plays a really, really important role in these types of games when it comes to expanding the player's mind and giving them a sense of scale. So we saw this in Breath of the Wild when we started out on the Great Plateau, but over there in the distance we could see other locations, and soon we find out anywhere that we can see, we can actually go. So by playing through the Great Plateau, we get our skills and tools for us to be able to take on pretty much any challenge in Breath of the Wild, and the Great Plateau was a fantastic tutorial area because you got a little taste of all the different biomes that Hyrule has to offer. It's all wrapped up in a relatively contained zone. And once you solve those first few shrines, you grab your tools and it's off to discover everything else that Hyrule has to offer. And you can see pretty much everything, but it's only through exploration that you're really going to get a sense of what that world is all about. Elden Ring took a very different approach to revealing the map to players. So when you're in that first area, Limgrave, that was all you could see. So that Limgrave map was bigger than some maps in other games. That element of surprise and wonder was deployed very successfully in Elden Ring. For example, you'd be exploring Limgrave and you might find a portal. All of a sudden you'd be teleported to another part of the map where the enemies hit super hard and you feel like the rug has been completely pulled from under your feet. As you progress through the main story in Elden Ring, the map just keeps getting bigger and bigger and you wonder if it's ever going to end. And it feels like the map is just going to keep on expanding. And just when you think it can't get any bigger, there's an underground reveal which is just going to absolutely blow your mind, and it's a lesson that many in the Zelda team hopefully took a note of. Well, next up, let's have a look at the Tears of the Kingdom map, or maybe even maps. So Tears of the Kingdom is releasing in a much different era of open world games compared to when Breath of the Wild released back in 2017. So back then, there were definitely less open world games on the market, but now the competition is much hotter, especially given Elden Ring released in 2022 and raised the bar for open world games as a whole. So there's been a number of significant uplifts over the years. So The Witcher 3 introduced meaningful side quests that could have been part of the main story, Breath of the Wild took exploration to a new level in 2017, Ghost of Tsushima was a really good open world which used the environment and the weather to direct you to where you need to go, and then Elden Ring raised the bar again in 2022 with size, scale, and surprising the player. So bringing this back to Tears of the Kingdom, the most recent trailer gives us a good indication of the different areas of the map. So we've got Hyrule on land will likely stay the same shape, but it's probably going to be modified when compared to Breath of the Wild. For example, Hyrule Castle is now floating in mid-air due to all of that malice that poured out of Ganondorf's corpse, and it's highly likely that other areas of the map will look similar but probably be changed in some yet-to-be-known way. Now, underground hasn't been showed off too much, but we have had clues that could be a big part of Link's adventure. So we've seen Link and Zelda travelling underground in that first trailer, when they find Ganondorf's corpse, and in the latest trailer we got a couple of shots which are potentially underground, so we see some bokoblins mining, and also Link using what looks to be a crafted weapon, similar to some kind of cannon. Now, given that impact of Elden Ring's underground, I would imagine Nintendo would have taken note of that, but whether they would directly copy that concept and put it into Tears of the Kingdom, I think that remains to be seen. Well, the Sky Islands are the other main play space we're going to have to explore, and from what we've seen in the trailers, this looks like it's going to be another huge area to explore, an interconnected land of floating islands high above Hyrule. It's so vast that Link has to fly between these islands, and we can see from the key artwork and the trailers of Link standing, surveying that huge landscape in front of him, as well as using incredible flying machines to get to where he needs to be. This all adds up to a huge world to explore, whether it's on a modified Hyrule land, underground in caves, or high above Hyrule amongst the clouds in the Sky Islands. Well, how all of this ties together remains a mystery at this point. We know for sure about two of the locations or the maps, one being Hyrule on land, and the other being above Hyrule in the sky. Now, that itself would be huge and a massive difference from Breath of the Wild. Underground hasn't yet been confirmed, but we've seen clues pointing to the existence of the underground space, so before the latest trailer I wasn't really 100% sure that this was going to be a thing in Tears of the Kingdom, but now we've seen that latest trailer, I'm much more confident that we're going to travel underground as well as high in the sky. So this all adds up to a very exciting time as we all look forward to the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Elden Ring raised that bar, and I fully expect the Zelda team to further raise that once again, and we could be on the cusp of another open world masterpiece, and I for one am very, very excited indeed. Well, talking about being very, very excited, let me know in the comments what you think about Tears of the Kingdom. How big do you think the game is going to be, and specifically, how big do you think the map is going to be? Share your thoughts in the comments with the community. Well, that is it for reasons why I think Zelda Tears of the Kingdom could be bigger than Elden Ring. And as always, thank you so much for watching or listening. For more Legend of Zelda content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to Triforce Times. Or you can check me out on Twitter at Triforce Times. Well, if you enjoyed this video, found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Thanks again, I'll see you soon.